Ethics meeting to order at 2:02 p.m. The next item we have is a roll call, and I will start with myself, Robert Usey, Director, Warren County Probation Department, currently the Vice Chair of the Ethics Board. And I would go to my left to Mr. Pulaski.
Brian Pulaski, I'm from the Public Defender's Office. I'm the alternate member for the persons who are county employees.
Ashanan, School Board, Warrensburg School Board member, member of the Ethics Board.
Diana Palmer, 3rd Ward, councilperson from Glens Falls, and I'm the alternate elected person on the board.
I'm Marty Delorier, member of the public and alternate, although we'll discuss that further, I guess.
Thank you. Item 3, reading and approval of the minutes from the December 29th, 2021 meeting. I'm not sure if we have any minutes. It went out. Okay. So the minutes went out. I would ask if everybody's had an option to review, an opportunity to review them, if they have any changes or anything they would like to add to that. With nothing heard, I would ask for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay.
Just a point of clarification that the alternate members aren't voting, correct? Is that correct?
Yeah, the vote of the regular members is the vote that we would count,
Yeah.
but the alternates could, feel free to vote if you'd like. We won't keep you from doing
I
it.
just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 4, unfinished business, if any. I'm not sure that we currently have any unfinished business at this time.
I don't know if you have any unfinished business. I just had a couple of questions, and maybe this would be a good time from our last meeting follow-up. One of them were the packet that went out for the disclosure forms. I know we had talked about adding some kind of an instruction sheet to that. And there has been some concern about not necessarily knowing what to do with it, what to fill out, what not to fill out. I don't know if that is something that we can tackle or do in the near future, because there's a possible outcome that some of the forms may have not been filled correctly. And without instructions, it could happen.
Larry, we can't hear you, Larry.
We still can't hear you, Larry.
Don't you love Zoom, eh?
No.
There's maybe the microphone's turned down. Is there an audio control down at the bottom, Tammy?
So I don't.
On everybody's screen, there should be an audio control. If you scroll down to the bottom, and you can turn the sensitivity up. There you go. There you go.
Sorry about that. Thanks for your patience. During the last, I'm getting an annoying feedback sound. I hope you guys aren't hearing it too. During the initial disclosure period, my office received a number of inquiries and questions regarding different items on the form. We've been keeping track of those in my office. And one of the discussions we can have at a future meeting is whether my office provides or whether there's recommendations by the board to amend the policy and to also provide separately frequently asked question sheet, basically. It was a handful of questions that came up repeatedly. So given that this is the first year running through the new policy, hopefully we'll be able to answer those questions and it'll become a little cleaner going forward. I'm not sure if that's satisfactory, but that's kind of the experience we had through January in my office.
So thank you. And again, the concern of the question is just to make sure that if somebody has, reached out to you and filled it out correctly, I think that's great. But if there are still open questions and as a result, we have incomplete or incorrectly filled forms, I don't know if this is something that we should give somebody an opportunity to refill or resend, again, just from a compliance standpoint.
And I would again defer to the board. I think that's probably part of the conversation we'll have during the executive session as the members review the disclosure statements which my office has received.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? For unfinished business? If none, then we will move on to new business. Under item A, resignation of Connie. So that obviously leads us to a position where we're going to have to appoint or nominate another chair. It would be my understanding that that would come from the active members, which are 3 of us, or 2 of us and 1 in standing. So with that said, I would throw that out to the board to see if anyone is interested or would like to be the chair of the ethics board.
I don't have a problem volunteering if the rest of the board agrees.
I support Ash as the chair.
I would second that. All in favor of having Ash as the chair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? So moved. I believe then I would remain as the vice chair and so on. I don't think we.
I have a question, Bob, if you don't.
Sure.
I apologize for interrupting. So now that Ms. Bussy's resigned, as I was the alternate prior to this, do I remain the alternate as we seek to fill the other community members' seat, or do I now move into the, I guess, the main seat, and then the person coming on board would be the alternate? That would be a question that I have.
And I think maybe if I can answer that as the legal advisor, you're going to act as a primary today, and it'll be up to the board, I believe, when they do an appointment to make a determination on whether they'll appoint a new member to the board as a primary or as an alternate, meaning that they would then appoint you as a primary member. I'm not aware of anything in the policy that sets forth that an alternate becomes a primary upon the resignation or otherwise unavailability, permanent unavailability of a member. So I think it'll be something that I hope, or I'll recommend that the Board of Supervisors address when they make a further appointment to the board.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
And as far as vice chair, since this is a new committee that's been newly appointed by the board, I would recommend that there be a nomination process for vice chair. It is a contest between 2, and I do wish you both the best of luck, but we probably do want the board to, since it's a newly constituted board for the next 2 years, select, nominate, and vote on who the vice chair will be.
How do you do that if I'm still considered an alternate? I mean, I would make a motion to keep Bob in the position as vice chair. And since I wouldn't be a primary member, then I wouldn't be eligible to be the vice chair at this time until, as you said, the Board of Supervisors is able to make an appointment of a primary and an alternate.
Excellent point. I agree. So by default, it would, I believe, it would be Bob for the position, since there's no other primary members.
And I gladly accept it by default. Thank you.
Hey, Larry, on the same sentiments, I'm just wondering if it is, it's a very fair question, and should the alternates be given an opportunity to fill that third position, which is more critical than leaving that vacant for now?
I think it has to be a member of the public, is what it says in the, it's 3 people or
Okay.
2 people that work, and then there's 2 that are members of the public, so they can't have any sort of attachments to the county or any sort of county job. Larry, correct me if I'm wrong there, please.
No, that's my understanding of the way the policy was adopted by the board.
I thought the same thing,
Okay,
too. I
understood.
thought it makes more
Perfect, thank you.
sense, but yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Item C, proposed 2022-23 rules of procedure for Board of Ethics.
At the last meeting in December, I had made mention that I would get a copy of proposed rules for the board to consider, review, and then adopt. I do not have a set of proposed rules for you at this point. I've looked at rules that are available in some other counties. And I wasn't comfortable. How do I put it? I don't know really what the board intention is. There's not a lot of detail in the current policy. The core functions of the board appear really focused on the review of financial disclosures, providing opinions when requested, addressing ethical complaints as that's defined by the policy, and then making recommendations to the board for modifications. So my hope is that today's meeting is probably one of the more important, substantial meetings, in the sense of you're going to be reviewing financial disclosure forms that have already been received and filed. And hopefully the process of reviewing it might assist me in getting a better sense of proposed rules for the board going forward. I didn't want to send out my rules for the board. And so that was my hesitation in getting you anything before this meeting. My hope would be that by the next meeting, that could be a substantial piece of the conversation, meaning working through proposed procedures for this board going forward, given that there are none right now in place. So that's a long way of me saying as I don't have a set of proposed rules for discussion for the board today.
Thank you. And as you indicated, after we start reviewing and getting into the business of the financial disclosures, we may have more opportunity to have substantial input regarding those. So thank you, Larry. Item D, executive session, so we can get into the business of reviewing. So I would ask that we go into executive session.
Hey, Bob, can we go back to
I'm sorry.
point C real quick, just
Yes.
a couple of things. So I know we talked about reviewing the draft, and that was one of the questions I had, so that's answered. But do we also have some kind of a non-compliance reporting for how many forms have we received, how many are missing, just to get an idea for the completed disclosures?
That will be part of the task of reviewing the financial disclosure forms that my office has compiled for the board. And in that light, I would ask, as the board considers going into executive session, that the basis for it is we're going to be looking at, and we want to protect personal privacy information, as well as financial information from individuals as a basis for going into executive session. And I would ask the board to also consider and permit my assistant, Mary Slimmer, to remain in the room to assist the board, since I'm not physically present today.
Thank you. Any other questions? So with that said, I would ask the board to consider going in executive session, as well as considering the request of County Attorney Elman regarding his secretary being present.
We'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say nay.